Daniel Hayes lay on the cold metal floor of the damaged shuttle, breathing heavily as alarms echoed around him. Red warning lights flashed again and again, but he paid no attention to them. His mind was on only one thing: getting the princess to safety. The air smelled of smoke and burned wires, and every movement of the shuttle felt rough, like the ship was trying its best not to fall apart. Daniel's armor was cracked in several places, and dried blood marked the side of his face, but he kept pushing forward. He was only one human. In the wide galaxy, humans were not known for strength or advanced technology. They were seen as simple, stubborn creatures with short lifespans. But Daniel had never cared what anyone thought. He believed in doing the right thing, even when it meant standing alone. And today, it meant saving Princess Lyra of the Andrillian Empire. She sat on the floor beside him, hugging her knees tightly. Her silver hair was messy and her eyes were full of fear. When she looked at Daniel, she did not see a weak human. She saw the man who had burst through the raider ship's doors, fighting through a full squad of armored aliens just to reach her. "Are we safe?" she asked softly, her voice trembling. Daniel gave a small smile, though his body was shaking. "For now. The palace is close. We're almost there." He tried to stand up, but his legs refused to hold his weight. Pain shot through his chest like fire. He ignored it, placing his hand against the wall to steady himself. Every bone in his body felt broken, but stopping was not an option. He reached out a hand to the princess and helped her rise. The shuttle made a sharp turn, and Lyra stumbled. Daniel held her steady, wincing as his ribs screamed in protest. For a moment, he thought he would collapse. His vision blurred, and dark spots danced at the edge of his sight. But he forced himself to breathe. He had to finish this. When the shuttle finally landed inside the royal hangar, Andrillian guards rushed forward. Their armor was gleaming and their movements fast, like shadows dancing under bright lights. They surrounded the princess, checking her injuries. She pointed at Daniel. "He saved me! All of you help him!" The guards turned to look at the human soldier. He stood still, barely breathing, leaning heavily on the wall. One guard moved closer, scanning him with a small device. The guard's eyes widened in shock. "He's dying." Daniel heard the words, but he refused to fall. Not yet. He straightened himself, using every bit of strength left. "Make sure she's safe," he whispered. The guards carried him quickly to the medical wing. Princess Lyra followed close behind, refusing to let him out of her sight. Her heart raced with guilt. If not for her, Daniel would never have been injured this badly. The medical wing was filled with bright blue lights, smooth white walls, and humming machines. The Andrillian doctors moved around quickly, speaking in their sharp alien language. They placed Daniel on a floating bed and connected machines to his chest and arms. His heart rate was dropping, and the monitors beeped in warning. One doctor shook his head. "His injuries are too severe. Human bodies cannot survive this level of trauma. He is slipping away." Princess Lyra stepped forward. "You must help him. He risked everything for me." The lead doctor replied, "Princess, we are doing everything we can. But Andrillian medicine reacts differently to human biology. We cannot heal what is already beyond repair." Daniel heard voices, but felt like he was sinking under deep water. Sounds became distant, and light faded. He tried to speak, but only a weak breath escaped his lips. He wanted to reassure the princess. He wanted to say he was fine. But even forming words felt impossible now. The doors suddenly opened, and everyone in the room froze. Queen Seraphine entered, her long robe gliding behind her like a shimmering wave. Her presence filled the room with quiet authority. She had ruled the Andrillian Empire for decades, known for her calm judgment and sharp intelligence. Her eyes landed on Daniel. She had never seen him before, but she knew he had saved her daughter when her own soldiers had failed. She stepped closer, studying his broken form. His armor was torn, his face bruised, and his breathing so weak that each inhale looked like it might be his last. She looked at the doctor. "Will he survive?" The doctor hesitated. "Your Majesty, no. Human healing is too slow. His body is too damaged." Princess Lyra's voice broke. "Mother, he saved my life. He fought through an entire ship alone. You cannot let him die." Daniel forced his eyes open. He saw the Queen standing beside him, her expression unreadable. He tried to speak to her. "Is Princess safe?" His voice was barely a whisper. The Queen leaned down. "Because of you, she is." Daniel gave a faint, tired smile. "Good. Then, my job." His voice faded again, and his eyes closed. His chest rose only slightly. Princess Lyra let out a small cry. "Mother, please." Queen Seraphine looked at Daniel again. He was a stranger from a lesser-known species. He had no power, no royal title, no reason to risk his life for an alien princess. And yet, he had done what her strongest warriors could not. He had shown courage greater than anything she had seen in years. She turned to her scientists. "Prepare the luminic regeneration chamber." The entire room went silent. One doctor stepped forward with worry in his eyes. "Your Majesty, that treatment is reserved for Andrillian nobles. And even then it is dangerous. It has never been used on humans. His body might react badly." The Queen's voice became firm. "I am aware. Prepare it." The doctors exchanged nervous glances, but obeyed immediately. They rolled Daniel's floating bed into a large circular room. In the center stood a transparent crystal chamber. Soft blue mist swirled inside, glowing with a light that seemed alive. The Queen approached Daniel before he was placed inside. She looked at his peaceful face. Even unconscious, he looked determined. She spoke quietly, but everyone heard her. "This human protected my daughter when others failed. I will not allow him to die. Not today." They slid Daniel into the chamber. The crystal walls closed around him with a soft hum. Lights inside the chamber dimmed, and the mist thickened. The luminic energy began to sink into his skin, his veins, his bones. At first, nothing happened. Then his body jerked suddenly. The machines beeped in alarm as his heart rate spiked dangerously high. Blue light raced across his body, causing his wounds to glow. His breathing turned sharp and fast, like he was fighting something inside him. The scientists watched nervously. "His body is rejecting the energy." Princess Lyra clutched her mother's arm. "Stop it! He is hurting!" The Queen shook her head. "No! He is fighting! Let him fight!" Inside the chamber, Daniel's fingers twitched. His face tightened in pain. The mist swirled stronger, pulsing like a heartbeat. The energy tried to heal him, and his body tried to keep up. Minutes passed like hours. His heart rate went up, then down, then flat for a moment, causing Princess Lyra to cry out. Then suddenly it rose again. His chest moved. His pulse returned. He was still alive, barely, but alive. The Queen placed her hand on the chamber glass, her expression calm, but intense. She whispered softly, though no one else heard. "Human, you are stronger than they say. Do not give up now." The chamber glowed brighter as if responding to her words. Daniel lay inside, floating in the mist, fighting silently between life and death. And the Queen of the Andrillian Empire stood watch, refusing to let him fall. Daniel Hayes floated inside the luminic regeneration chamber, surrounded by soft, glowing mist that moved like slow waves of light. The doctors kept checking the monitors, their faces tight with worry. Human bodies were not meant to interact with Andrillian energy. It was like mixing fire with water. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it exploded. Every minute inside the chamber was a battle. Queen Seraphine stood at the front of the room, her arms crossed, her face calm but firm. She refused to leave Daniel's side. Princess Lyra stayed beside her, her eyes never leaving the chamber. Both watched in silence as Daniel's body twitched every few seconds, reacting to the alien energy trying to repair him. At times, his heartbeat shot up so fast that alarms blared. Other times, it dropped so low that the doctors panicked. But the Queen spoke in a steady voice every time the medical staff suggested stopping the treatment. "He saved my daughter. We will not stop." The scientists obeyed, though their hands trembled with fear. No one wanted to be responsible for harming a hero, and no one wanted to argue with the Queen. Inside the chamber, Daniel's subconscious mind drifted in a strange, glowing space. He felt as if he were underwater, swimming between memories. Sometimes he saw the raider ship again, flashes of the fight, the princess screaming, the gunfire echoing. Other times he saw Earth, his home, the quiet blue sky, the warm sunlight on his skin. He heard the voices of people he once knew, encouraging him, telling him to hold on. He didn't understand where he was, but a single thought kept him anchored. Princess Lyra is safe. I must live. Hours passed, then a day, then two. The treatment continued non-stop. The chamber was usually used for only a few hours at a time for Andrillian patients. But for Daniel, they kept it running far longer. No one knew what would happen if they stopped. The Queen rarely slept during those days. She sat in the chair placed near the chamber, her eyes fixed on Daniel. She was a ruler who carried huge responsibilities, yet she had chosen to spend all her time watching over a lone human soldier. Her advisors kept coming to remind her of meetings and political duties. She waved them away. My empire can wait. His life cannot. Princess Lyra brought her mother food and stayed with her. She kept asking the doctors if Daniel would survive. The answer was always the same. We do not know. Every morning, the scientists checked his progress. Every evening, they recalibrated the luminic flow. They carefully adjusted the intensity of the glowing mist to keep Daniel alive, but not overwhelm his human body. On the third night, the Queen finally dozed off in her chair. The room was quiet, except for the constant hum of the chamber. Princess Lyra sat on the floor beside her mother, her chin resting on her knees. She watched Daniel, her heart heavy with guilt and hope. Suddenly, the chamber flashed bright, so bright that the entire room lit up like a star had exploded inside it. The alarm screamed again. Princess Lyra jumped to her feet. The Queen woke instantly, her eyes sharp. "What happened?" she demanded. The doctors ran to the consoles, scanning the data. "The luminic energy is reacting again. His cells are absorbing it too fast." One doctor shouted, "His body is under extreme stress. If this continues, he could—" Queen Seraphine lifted her hand sharply. "Do not say it. Fix it." The scientists pushed buttons and adjusted settings rapidly. The chamber's light flickered, dimmed, then steadied. But something strange was happening. Daniel's body was glowing faintly, a soft blue outline forming around him. His fingers twitched again, but this time they didn't stop. His muscles moved. His breathing deepened, and his chest rose with more strength than before. Princess Lyra placed her hand on the chamber's glass. "Daniel, can you hear me?" Inside, Daniel heard a voice, soft and familiar. His eyes moved beneath his eyelids. He tried to speak, but only a faint breath escaped. The Queen watched him closely. "He is fighting. Let him continue." His heartbeat steadied. The alarm slowed. The glowing mist around his body settled into a gentle rhythm. The doctor stared at the monitors with disbelief. "This is impossible," one whispered. "His body is adapting to the energy." Another added, "It's as if the luminic regeneration is merging with his human cells instead of rejecting them." The Queen stepped closer to the chamber. Her voice was calm, but a small spark of pride appeared in her eyes. This is why humans should never be underestimated. The doctors made notes, tracking everything. None of them had seen anything like this. Human biology was supposed to break under such intense energy, not evolve with it. But Daniel Hayes was proving everyone wrong. More hours passed. Daniel's body began to heal faster. His broken ribs shifted back into place. His bruised skin regained color, and the deep wounds along his side slowly closed. The glowing mist continued to surround him like a protective blanket. Princess Lyra felt tears form in her eyes. "He is getting better, Mother. He really is." The Queen placed her hand gently on her daughter's shoulder. "Yes, he is strong, stronger than we thought." Later that day, Daniel's eyes fluttered open for the first time. It was only for a second, but he saw something. Soft white light, blurred figures, and the outline of someone he recognized. Princess Lyra's face. He wanted to speak, but his strength faded again, and he slipped back into unconsciousness. Still, it was progress. The doctors almost cheered. On the 5th day, Daniel woke again, this time longer. He looked around, confused. He could hear muffled voices through the chamber wall. His body felt different, lighter in some places, heavier in others. His arms tingled. His chest felt warm, as if something was growing inside it. He tried to sit up, but the chamber restrained him gently. Outside, Princess Lyra gasped. "He's awake!" The Queen stood quickly. Her sharp, commanding presence softened a little as she stepped toward the chamber. "Open a communication line," she said. A small device activated, allowing Daniel to hear them clearly. Queen Seraphine spoke. "Human soldier, can you hear us?" Daniel blinked slowly. His voice was weak, but clear. "Yes, Your Majesty." The Queen studied his face. "You are dying. Our treatment is repairing you, but it is also changing you. Do you feel different?" Daniel tried to think. His mind was foggy. Something inside him pulsed gently, like a second heartbeat. He nodded slowly. "Yes, I feel strange, strong, but tired." Princess Lyra stepped closer to the glass. "Daniel, you scared us so much, but you're alive. You're really alive." Daniel managed a small smile. "You're safe. That's all that matters." The Queen exchanged a look with her daughter. Daniel's first thought, even after waking from near death, was still the princess's safety. It impressed her more than she expected. "You should rest," the Queen said. "The treatment will continue, but you are past the most dangerous stage." Daniel's eyes closed again, but this time he slept peacefully. His breathing was even, his heart steady. The doctors slowly lowered the luminic levels, letting his body absorb the change without overwhelming him. Days passed and Daniel's strength increased. His body healed in ways no human doctor would ever believe. The luminic energy left subtle lines of glowing light beneath his skin, fading and appearing again like waves. He could hear better, see better. His reflexes were different, sharper, like his body reacted before his mind understood. Queen Seraphine visited him often. She would stand beside the chamber, studying him with thoughtful eyes. She had seen soldiers, generals, and powerful warriors, but none had impressed her like the quiet human who fought without expecting reward. Princess Lyra visited even more. She talked to him through the glass, telling him stories of her childhood, of the floating gardens, of the crystal seas of their home planet. Sometimes Daniel was awake, sometimes not, but she continued speaking anyway, hoping her voice reached him. Each time Daniel woke, he felt stronger, his mind clearer, his body lighter. The luminic regeneration had pushed him to the edge of death and brought him back with something new inside him. One evening, the Queen stood beside the chamber and watched Daniel sleep. There was something almost peaceful about the way he lay there, healing quietly. She whispered to herself, "Human, you have changed more than you know." Daniel did not hear her. But deep inside his chest, the strange new energy pulsed again. And it was growing. Daniel Hayes slowly opened his eyes. The first thing he noticed was the soft blue glow above him. The luminic chamber was finally turned off, and he was lying on a normal medical bed. His body no longer felt heavy or weak. Instead, everything felt sharper. His senses were clearer and his thoughts moved faster than he could understand. He lifted his hand and stared at it. His skin looked normal, but faint traces of light shimmered under it, appearing for a second before fading again. He flexed his fingers and they responded with perfect smoothness. His breathing was easy and his chest no longer hurt. The door to the medical room opened and Princess Lyra walked in, carrying a small bowl of fruit slices. When she saw Daniel sitting up, her eyes widened in surprise. "You're awake, truly awake this time." Daniel gave a small smile. "Feels like it. How long was I out?" "Many days," she answered, placing the bowl on the table beside him. "Mother and I visited every day. You were healing, but also changing. Sometimes your body glowed. Sometimes the machines warned us, but you kept fighting." Daniel nodded slowly. "I remember flashes, lights, voices, pain, and, your voice sometimes." Her cheeks warmed slightly. "I talked to you a lot. I hoped you could hear." "I think I did," he said. Before Lyra could reply, the large doors opened again, and Queen Seraphine entered with her royal advisors. Her presence filled the room with quiet authority. When Daniel tried to sit straight, she raised a hand gently. "Relax, soldier. You are still recovering." Daniel obeyed, though he felt stronger than he ever had. The Queen studied him carefully. "How do you feel?" "Strange," Daniel admitted. "Better than before. Stronger, but different." "That is expected," the Queen said. "The luminic energy merged with your cells. It did not simply heal you, it enhanced you. You are the first human to survive such treatment." One advisor stepped forward nervously. "Your Majesty, is it safe for him to be awake so soon?" Queen Seraphine gave him a sharp look. "He saved my daughter. He has earned trust." The advisor bowed and stepped back. Daniel tried to move his legs, and to his surprise, he could stand easily. Lyra gasped. "Slowly! Don't push yourself too hard." But Daniel shook his head. "It's okay. My body feels lighter, like everything inside me is working better." The Queen observed him closely. "Your balance is stable. Your coordination seems improved." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "You can tell just by looking?" "Yes. I have seen warriors train all my life. Your posture has changed." He didn't argue. She was right. He could feel something new inside him, something calm but powerful. Suddenly, an alarm sounded outside the medical wing. The sharp tone echoed through the halls. Everyone froze for a moment. A guard rushed into the room. "Your Majesty! Enemy fleet spotted near the outer defense ring." Princess Lyra's hand flew to her mouth. "The raiders?" "Most likely," the guard said. "We are preparing the defensive units." Queen Seraphine turned to Daniel. "You do not need to involve yourself. You have already done enough." Daniel shook his head. "Your Majesty, I am a soldier. I won't sit here while your people face a threat that came because of rescuing your daughter." Lyra's eyes widened. "But you just woke up." Daniel took a breath. "And yet, I feel ready." He turned to the Queen. "Let me help." Seraphine hesitated. She looked at her daughter, then at Daniel. His expression was steady and his gaze clear. She saw no weakness in him, only quiet resolve. "You have barely recovered," she said softly. Daniel answered, "I survived something no human should. Maybe there's a reason for that." The Queen finally nodded. "Very well. But you will not fight alone. You will join my commanders. Follow orders. And if your body shows any sign of stress, you will stop." "I understand," Daniel said. Within minutes, he was given clean clothes, simple but flexible. His old armor was beyond repair. But strangely, Daniel felt he didn't need it. His new strength made him feel protected in a way he couldn't explain. He followed the guards through long hallways filled with blue lights and crystal windows. As they walked, he felt something unusual. His vision caught distant movements more clearly. His steps were faster without trying. His ears picked up whispers from far down the corridor. He was not imagining it. Whatever the luminic energy had done, his body had changed. When they reached the command center, the room was filled with screens showing enemy ships closing in. The Andrillian commanders stood around a glowing table, discussing strategies. Queen Seraphine and Princess Lyra joined them. Daniel stood quietly observing everything. The lead commander spoke. "Your Majesty, the Raider fleet is larger than before. They must be seeking revenge." Another added, "We can hold them off, but we will suffer losses. We need a strong counterattack." Daniel studied the fleet patterns on the screens. Something inside his mind felt unexpectedly sharp, like he could understand the movement of ships more easily than before. He pointed at a cluster of enemy vessels. "If you hit that group first, the others will break formation. Their ships rely on synchronized movement. Disrupting the center will weaken the whole line." The commanders looked at him in surprise. One of them frowned. "Human, how do you know their formation structure?" Daniel hesitated. "I don't know. I just looked at it and understood." Queen Seraphine watched him carefully. "The luminic energy has likely enhanced your intuitive reasoning," Princess Lyra whispered. "He really has changed." The commanders reviewed Daniel's suggestion. After a moment, they nodded. "His idea may work." "Prepare the fleet," the Queen ordered. Daniel joined the ground unit assigned to defend the palace perimeter. As he walked among the Andrillian soldiers, they looked at him with curiosity. Some respected him. Some were unsure. But all had heard the story of the human who saved the princess. One soldier approached him, wearing silver armor. "You are the human who fought alone, yes?" Daniel nodded. "Daniel Hayes." The soldier bowed slightly. "We fight together today. Stay close." Daniel smiled. "I'll try not to slow you down." The soldier laughed. "We fear you may leave us behind." Outside, the sky darkened as enemy ships approached. Energy shields activated around the city. The air vibrated with tension. Daniel felt his heart beat faster, but not from fear, from readiness. When the battle began, the ground shook as Andrillian cannons fired into the sky. Enemy ships released landing pods that crashed onto the outer fields. Soldiers rushed to meet them. Daniel moved with them. To his surprise, his reactions were faster than ever. When he saw an enemy soldier jump from a landing pod, Daniel reached him quicker than he thought possible. He pushed an Andrillian guard aside, saving him from being knocked down. His speed shocked even him. One commander shouted, "Human, take the left flank." Daniel nodded and sprinted. His legs felt like they were carrying him effortlessly. He dodged blasts, moved between soldiers, and reacted before danger reached him. Every motion felt instinctive. He didn't fight with weapons often. He used strategy and positioning, guiding Andrillian soldiers, warning them of incoming enemies, redirecting groups, and closing gaps in defense. Somehow, he could sense danger a moment before it happened. Soldiers began following his calls without question. "Move right! Cover the ridge! Watch the air!" Every time he shouted, he was correct, and every correct move saved lives. Princess Lyra watched the battle from the control tower, her hands pressed against the glass. Her eyes followed Daniel's movements, astonished by his speed and awareness. "Mother, look at him. He's changed so much." Queen Seraphine stood beside her, silent but deeply observing. She felt a strange mix of pride and concern as she watched the human soldier weave through the battlefield with new power. "He is no longer just a soldier," the Queen said softly. "He is something more." As the hours passed, the Andrillian forces slowly pushed back the raiders. Daniel continued guiding them, never growing tired. The energy within him pulsed calmly, filling him with strength. At last, the enemy ships retreated, leaving the sky clear. Cheers rose across the city. Daniel stood among the exhausted soldiers, breathing steadily. He felt no exhaustion, only calm relief. The Queen and Princess arrived moments later. Soldiers bowed as the royal family approached Daniel. Queen Seraphine looked at him with steady eyes. "You changed the course of the battle. Without you, we would have suffered greatly." Daniel bowed his head slightly. "I only did what I could." Princess Lyra smiled brightly. "You did more than that. You saved us again." Daniel looked at the glowing sky above them. He didn't know what he was becoming, but he knew one thing. He was not done yet. The silence around Ethan felt strange. After so many battles, so many shouts, explosions, alarms, and tense moments, the quiet inside the alien palace almost felt unreal. He sat against a large crystal pillar, breathing slowly, feeling his chest rise and fall with effort. His strength was not completely back, but it was returning. The strange energy that flowed through his veins still felt new every time he moved. It made his muscles light and heavy at the same time, as if his body was trying to understand a power it was never meant to carry. The alien queen stood nearby, watching him with eyes filled with concern. Her wings were folded behind her back, glowing softly with a warm blue light. She had not looked away from him since the moment he woke up. Even now, she seemed ready to rush forward if he so much as tilted his head in discomfort. She was unable to hide her worry, even though she was a leader who usually carried herself like a force of nature. She had changed around him, and even Ethan now understood it. The princess was on his other side, kneeling close, her hands resting lightly on the marble floor. She had grown calmer ever since the crisis ended. Her fear had faded, replaced with admiration and gratitude. She kept studying Ethan as if reminding herself he was really alive and not a memory she would lose. Whenever he looked at her, she smiled softly, a smile that made Ethan feel both embarrassed and proud. Ethan pushed himself up and stood on his feet. His legs trembled a little, but he stayed firm. The Queen moved forward instantly, ready to support him, but Ethan held up a hand. "I'm good," he said in a steady voice. "Just trying to get used to everything." The Queen relaxed, but remained close. "Your body is adjusting to the energy," she said, her voice calm but filled with deep emotion. "It will take time, but you are no longer dying. You are stable now." Ethan nodded slowly. It still felt unbelievable. A few days ago, he had accepted death. He had felt his life slipping out of his hands as he fought to save the princess. Every breath had become a struggle. Every second had been heavy. He had thought his final moments would happen alone in a dark corner of an enemy base. Instead, he was standing here, alive, because an alien queen refused to let him go. He stepped forward until he reached the open balcony that overlooked the glowing capital city. The sky above was filled with floating lights and swirling patterns made by the alien energy fields. Their beauty washed over him like a dream. He placed both hands on the railing and breathed out slowly. "I still don't understand why you did all this for me," he said quietly. The Queen approached, her steps light. She stopped next to him. "Because your bravery changed everything," she said. "You acted with courage even when you had nothing to gain. You risked your life for someone who was not your own. That kind of heart is rare in the galaxy. I could not let such a life disappear." Ethan looked down, unsure what to say. He had never seen himself as someone special. He just did what he thought was right, but her words carried weight. They made him feel something warm inside his chest, something that felt like pride but deeper. The princess moved closer as well. "You saved me," she said softly. "You saved all of us. I cannot forget that." Ethan turned slightly to look at her. Her eyes were bright with honesty. He knew she truly meant every word. The memory of pulling her out of danger, protecting her with his own body, and facing the enemy alone came back to him. He remembered the determination he felt in those moments. He would do it all again. The Queen studied his expression and then looked toward the horizon. "The Council wants to meet you," she said. "They wish to thank you themselves. Many leaders are already gathering in the Hall of Stars." Ethan let out a small laugh. "I'm not good with speeches." The princess smiled. "You won't be alone. We will stand beside you." Ethan nodded and slowly followed them through the shining corridors. The palace walls glowed with patterns that shifted when he passed by, reacting to the new energy inside him. Several alien guards bowed deeply when they saw him, something that made Ethan feel awkward every single time. He was just a soldier from Earth, not some hero from their legends. Yet everyone treated him like one. When they entered the Hall of Stars, hundreds of eyes turned toward him. Ethan felt his breath catch in his throat. The entire place was massive, with floating platforms, glowing walls, and tall statues that reached the ceiling. Leaders from different regions had gathered. Their clothes shimmered with colors he had never seen before. The room felt alive with power and respect. The Queen stepped forward and raised her hand. Silence filled the hall instantly. "This human," she said in a clear voice, "saved my daughter, the future of our people. He stood alone against danger without fear. He gave his life without hesitation. And when the universe tried to take him from us, I refused to let it happen. Because he deserves life. He deserves honor." Her voice echoed beautifully across the chamber. Ethan swallowed hard. He had never expected such words. The room reacted with a wave of admiration. The leaders bowed their heads. Some placed their hands on their hearts. Ethan felt almost overwhelmed. One elderly leader stepped forward and spoke. "Human Ethan, your actions have changed the future of our alliance. You have shown that humanity holds strength beyond weapons. You have shown heart, and that is something we value above all." Another leader added, "You will always be welcome on our worlds. Your name will be remembered in our history." Ethan felt heat rise to his face. He scratched the back of his neck and forced out a simple reply. "Thank you. I only did what I thought was right." The hall reacted with warm approval. They respected humility, even in a warrior. After the gathering ended, Ethan stepped outside the hall for fresh air. The Queen followed shortly after. She looked at him with soft eyes. "There is one more thing," she said gently. "Your future." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "My future?" She nodded. "You have choices now. You may return to Earth if you wish. We can send you home once your strength fully returns. Or you may stay with us, as a guardian, as someone we honor. Our worlds are open to you." Ethan stared at the lights of the city again. He thought about his life on Earth, simple, lonely, and filled mostly with duties. He thought about everything he had experienced here, the danger, the struggle, the warmth of the princess's gratitude, and the Queen's fierce determination to save him. He felt connected to this place now. It felt strange, but he felt more at home here than he ever had before. The princess approached slowly, her expression hopeful. "We would be happy if you stayed," she said softly. Ethan met her eyes. There was sincerity there, a kindness he didn't want to walk away from. He took a long breath and let his heart decide. "I think," he said slowly, "I want to stay." The Queen's eyes softened even more, and a warm smile spread across her face. The princess's eyes brightened. The air around them felt lighter, almost joyful. "Then you will stay," the Queen said, "and you will not stand alone. You are one of us now." Ethan felt something strong settle inside him. He felt purpose. He felt belonging. Later that night, Ethan stood on a high balcony overlooking the entire city. The princess stood beside him, her dress glowing softly in the moonlight. The Queen watched them from a short distance, her presence comforting and protective. Ethan placed his hand on the railing and looked at the stars. The galaxy was wide, dangerous, and beautiful. He knew new challenges would come, new threats might rise, but he also knew he would not face them alone. He had a new family now, a new home, a new future, and for the first time in a long time, Ethan felt truly alive.